parking lot behind the Luxury Box Sports Bar and Grill in Washington, Pennsylvania. As you can see, Antonio Brown had been a fairly popular figure there, at least in all of these like cardboard cutouts and things like that. Not so much anymore. They are literally in the dumpster, and they are literally creating a dumpster fire. And as the one and only Stephen A. Smith has made his way back from a busy week in Los Angeles.
You got my brothers up in here, boy, and Coach.
Here's what I did.
I didn't know this.
I don't have any one man who can go up against you, so I got two. I got Bart Scott and I got Mike Wilson.
Well, let me tell you something. If I was playing football, I couldn't mess with this man. If I was trying to coach, I couldn't mess with this man. They're in my domain. Good luck. Good luck.
So we're going to do both topics. We're going to start with Antonio Brown. You are for those who don't know, Stephen, a Steeler fan through and through. I haven't seen you since the deal got done. What's your reaction?
Disgusted. Very, very disgusted. I'm not happy about it at all. If you're the Raiders, you did a good job, and I'll be talking about that on First Take. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's be very, very clear. There's a distinct difference between what Kevin Colbert, based on his experience, his resume, and what he's going to do with this 3rd and 5th round pick than he acquired from Antonio Brown. That is a different story compared to what level of compensation did you get for arguably the greatest receiver in football. And when we look at it, we can't just look at it in terms of Antonio Brown. We have to look at it from the perspective. Le'Veon Bell, arguably the best running back in football, you'll essentially get a 3rd round compensatory pick for him. Antonio Brown, a 3rd and a 5th round pick. If I sat here and I said to Green, if I said to Coach Woodson, a basketball coach, and of course this football analyst, Bart Scott, if I sat up there and I said to you, for arguably the best running back in football and the best wide receiver in football, all you're getting is a 5th round pick, a 3rd round pick, and a compensatory 3rd round pick for 2 of the elite players in the game of football. How in the hell is that a good job? That is not a good job. The fact of the matter is that this entire situation has been mishandled. Antonio Brown comes out a huge, huge winner because as a player, you don't pull off what he was able to pull off in comparison. And also, let's give Drew Rosenhaus mad love and credit because clearly he was behind all of this. And I'll take this a step further. We actually have to take a moment to contemplate, was Antonio Brown really telling the truth about Big Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization? Was he really sincere when he offended by Kevin Colbert, or did he go out of his way to make it look that way for the purposes of getting pushed out of Pittsburgh? And oh, by the way, was Big Ben Roethlisberger in on it? Because as a player, you might be like this, yo, get your money, dog. We gonna sit there, talk about me any way you want to. We'll settle all of this once the dust settles. But for right now, I'm gonna go with that because I know you're trying to get your money, which is what this was all about.
I think Ben probably gave the organization an ultimatum. It's either him or me. Because all of a sudden, Ben is revigorated, right? All of a sudden, he's like, I want an extension. This is the same man that's been saying, I want to retire, been not, hitting that retirement for the last 2 years. So did the relationship become so toxic that it was like, you know what, let's just get him out of the building? Because if you got to side with the receiver or the quarterback's going to win every time.
Stephen A., I would add, not only did they wind up getting 2/3 and a 5th for those 2 stars, they also wound up with $21 million in dead money. So it could not have worked out worse.
$21.1 million, but then when you take into account Juju Smith-Schuster and who else they have on their squad at the wide receiver position, you're talking about an excess of $24 million. So if you look at those 2 or 3 players, it equates to $24 million. Doesn't look quite.
They have them cheap. But so at the end of the day, what are the Steelers going into next season? Until we see what winds up happening with the draft and everything else, are they still the team to beat in the division they have basically controlled?
Oh, they're definitely not the team to beat. First of all, the Baltimore Ravens would be there. The Cleveland Browns are on the come up. And we can't ignore the fact that right now, listen, I love Mike Tomlin. And last year wasn't his greatest year, but his resume speaks for itself. I don't think it's fair at all, the level of criticism that he's gotten overall. But I do think he goes into this next season because of the dysfunction that raked through that franchise last season, somewhat on a hot seat.
Bart, who's the team to beat in that division?
Right now, it has to be the Cleveland Browns because you talk about a team with a tremendous amount of salary cap space that can attract free agents. I think everybody understands that Baker Mayfield is the truth. They're creating some more salary cap space. I think that'd be the number 2 hottest destination in free agency.
All right, I'm going to tag in my basketball cohort here now. We'll talk about the Lakers, but are basically out of playoff contention, right? And the team is scaling back LeBron James minutes. We've seen it already. He's averaged under 30 minutes per game in his last two, including Saturday night in a loss against the Celtics. And there are all kinds of other issues right now with the Lakers. This one is frightening. They announced that Brandon Ingram will miss the rest of the year. He's been diagnosed with a deep venous thrombosis in his right arm. It's a condition caused by a blood clot that can be very serious. We don't know exactly how significant it is, but certainly he's closed down for the year. The Lakers also shutting down point guard Lonzo Ball. Ball sustained a grade 3 ankle sprain in January, then had a bone bruise that slowed his recovery. So it's been a very difficult time for the Lakers. And so, Mike Woodson, if you are coaching the Lakers, what are you doing with LeBron James right now?
Mike, I'm shutting him down. Got to shut him down. Get ready for next summer.
What do you think, Stephen A?
I don't disagree with that, but the narrative that I brought up last week when this news came down was that I want to see what LeBron James wants to do. I'm not saying that I disagree with Coach, because I get where Coach is coming from. But the question hasn't been about the organization in terms of their interest, their level of commitment to LeBron James. They gave him 4 years, $153 million. They're all in on him. We recognize he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest player in the game of basketball, at least until he went down and got injured. Here's the reality. Because you have so many people, and being in L.A. all of last week, being in L.A. periodically throughout the year, producers, directors, the who's who of Hollywood, sitting courtside stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about question green, Coach Bart. I'm talking about accusations from folks in L.A. He ain't here to be no Laker. He came here for Hollywood. Yeah, he gonna get his 27 points tonight. He's gonna do what he takes during those 48 minutes. But is he really all in Stephen A? The way that he was when he went to Miami, the way that he was when he went to Cleveland? I personally think those questions are ridiculous because LeBron James has proven to us throughout his illustrious career, and I can be critical of him from time to time, there is no questioning his professionalism. There's no questioning his commitment to win. There's no questioning any of that stuff. But Laker Nation is a different breed. And when you are the marquee guy, keep this in mind, from 1948 to this day, there has never been a marquee name outside of Elgin Baylor wearing the purple and gold that didn't deliver a chip for the purple and gold. Elgin Baylor retired in '72, a few games into that season that Jerry West and those boys won it. He retired that season. But he is the only star, synonymous, and again, he was on the downside of his career. He is the only elite star to ever wear purple and gold that didn't deliver a championship. Everybody else did. That's the mandate for LeBron James, and they don't think that they're getting that priority from him. They think he wants to be Hollywood.
I heard you were talking about it last week. They're chanting, go back to Cleveland in L.A., which is unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
Will he get it done? Will he find a way? Will he and Magic find a way, whether it's free agency, whatever it might be, to win one in L.A.?
Well, again, this summer is going to be very pivotal for that franchise in terms of moving forward. So, they got to start by getting a free agent, a big free agent to come in.
Will they?
I think they'll get one, yeah.
Ooh.
Don't know.
Kawhi? Kevin Durant? That big?
I mean...
Stephen A., you're shy. I know you don't
Would you like me to answer this, Coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you what's going on. Kawhi Leonard supposedly don't want to go. It's either the Clippers or Toronto. This is what they're saying. KD, 1 minute you hear Golden State, another minute you hear the Knicks. You certainly don't hear LA because he ain't trying to help LeBron win more than LeBron has already won. Kyrie Irving, you hear Boston 1 minute, New York next. LA is an outsider till his camp picks up the phone and reminds you, yo, he ain't trying to reunite with LeBron. He left Cleveland for a reason. We know what Paul George did in terms of electing to stay in OKC because the Lakers didn't pursue him strongly enough and what have you. So then you talk about Jimmy Butler, a damn good player, but not the marquee that you were looking for. Kemba Walker, a lesser version of Kyrie, but special. But then again, he's a native New Yorker, and New York would overpay to keep him, particularly if you can't get Kyrie. So when you look at all of these different scenarios, now we get back to the Lakers and LeBron, and here's what it comes down to. You LeBron James, nobody want to compete with you. You can't get one guy to come that you got to rely on Rich Paul and Clutch Sports with your client, because we all know that LeBron James is synonymous with Clutch Sports. You got to rely on Anthony Davis getting traded. The Pelicans reportedly are not going to cooperate with the Lakers. They'll trade him anywhere but to the Lakers, which means he would have to wait until the summer of 2020. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Los Angeles Clippers have a billionaire owner worth $22 billion. They've got a guy in Lawrence Frank known for working hard. Doc Rivers has done an exceptional job of coaching this year. And oh, by the way, they're going to have enough cap space for 2 max players, not just 1. And in the meantime, they're about 8 games over 500, battling for a 7th seed, could potentially climb to a 6th seed in the Western Conference picture. This is not a good situation for the Los Angeles Lakers. When we talk about the Yankees and the Mets in New York, I can't believe I'm about to say this. If the Lakers don't get somebody, the Clippers will be the Yankees of LA, and the Lakers would be the Mets.
There's nothing on earth I want to do less than break this up, but they're screaming at me because your show starts in 8 minutes. Go. Stephen A. Smith on First Take, back from Los Angeles. Outstanding to see you, my man. Thank you very much. We will take a break. Marcus Spears is going to jump in next. Antonio Brown is a Raider. How significant? Steelers lose. Raiders his next. Get up, ESPN.